16-year-old Louise demonstrates the direct connection between the postural improvement provided by the PowerUp stabilizer, in his case especially in the area of head control, and improved overall motor skill.
When Lou is just using his mobile arm support without the PowerUp stabilizer, it's the speed with which he can hit the switch is much slower, and he has a tendency to overshoot or hit it much harder than when he's got the PowerUp stabilizer. If you also look at the position that he has in his left upper extremity, there's a lot more internal rotation, and he's really kind of hooking his arm on the back of his tray as a point of stability. Awesome. Good job, Lou. Now you can see how Lou's pushing into the surface of the forearm support of the PowerUp stabilizer to get his head up and then to hit the switch.
The smile on 14-year-old Andrew's face is proof that his occupational therapist is not the only one who notices. The PowerUp stabilizer gives him improved posture, control, and that all-important sense of accomplishment.
Okay, here we have a young man who, as he uses his upper extremities, loses his postural control and tends to lean forward. The longer he's using his upper extremities, the more forward he becomes, which not only is poor for his posture, but it also affects his visual skills because his eyes are so far pointed downward, and he has a tendency to either be looking down or his eyes are looking only upward. He doesn't get that central vision. As you can see, as he's using the PowerUp stabilizing device, he has a external postural support system to push against, which helps him stay more upright and more midline. So as he's working, he's not falling forward onto the surface, and at the same time, it's helping his head and eye control so that he's able to scan better downward onto the keyboard and up onto the screen to see what he's typing.
"14-year-old Alexa's ability to communicate has been greatly improved by the use of the PowerUp stabilizer. Listen as her therapist describes the valuable difference the stabilizer makes in Alexa's daily life.
So now we have a young lady who uses the Dynavox as her primary mode of communication, and she has athetoid cerebral palsy. She typically initiates most of her movement with asymmetrical extension, and which was significant before using the PowerUp stabilizer. You can see as she's using her Dynavox, she's pulling back her left arm and really pushing way over to that left side. So now we've got Alexa using the PowerUp stabilizer, and what she does is she tends to intermittently use it, so her arms will go on and off of it as needed. And as she's using it, you can see that her posture is staying much more in the middle, that she is not leaning so far over to the left. And she can reposition herself on the handle as her arm moves.
13-year-old Nicholas is a great example of how the PowerUp stabilizer can have an immediate, dramatic effect that benefits not only its user, but caregivers and families too, since they are better able to communicate with and understand each other.
Nicholas uses a Vanguard communication device to do his communication, and normally we have to hold him in a position so he can use his head switches. You want to keep going here? Yeah, you ready to show? Okay. And we have to stabilize him. Relax. Relax. There you go.
We worked on preparing that shoulder and getting his arms back, and immediately his whole body just quieted, and he started using his head switches to operate his augmentative communication system. And his OT said it was the first time that he ever really initiated conversation. He would always answer questions, but that was the first time he ever initiated conversation.